Sudah 14 tahun saya berpindah ke Malaysia dan menetap di sini. Saya berasa nostalgik melihat bangunan-bangunan kolonial yang ditinggalkan oleh British di Malaysia. Dan setelah saya pindah ke Malaysia, saya mendapat banyak ilham. Jadi saya menulis sebuah buku tentang Malaysia. Hai semua, selamat Hari Raya, selamat Aidilfitri, maaf zahir dan batin. Selamat datang ke Balas Klasik dan kita berjumpa di bulan Syawal. Hari ini kita nak dengar fakta-fakta daripada seorang Inggeris yang telah berpindah dari Sydney, Australia terus ke Hockton, Pulau Pinang. Apa yang beliau cakapkan adalah fakta-fakta yang saya kagum sangat. Beliau berkata British pernah menjajah Malaysia dan masih lagi menggunakan sistem Westminster. Bangunan-bangunan kolonial yang ditinggalkan oleh British menjadi nostalgik bagi beliau dan isteri. Beliau mampu sewa apartmen-apartmen atau kondo-kondo yang mewah di tepi pantai dan hidup mewah di Malaysia. Kata beliau, di Malaysia senang saja buat temu janji dengan pakar-pakar doktor jikalau nak perubatan pergigian ataupun perubatan kesihatan yang lain. Tidak seperti di Barat. Di Barat mesti wajib ada health insurance. Kalau tidak boleh jumpa doktor di sana. Senang sekali berkomunikasi dengan rakyat Malaysia kerana rakyat Malaysia boleh katakan semua boleh berbahasa Inggeris dan senang baca papan tanda di jalan-jalan raya. Isteri beliau lah yang meyakinkan dan mendorong beliau supaya pindah ke Malaysia. Selepas siap semua dokumen untuk masuk ke Malaysia, mereka jual rumah mereka dan masuk Malaysia hanya dengan 3 beg. Bukan macam kita, nak balik kampung pun bawa barang 1 lori. Jom kita dengar cerita beliau dan juga kita tengok apartmen mewah yang disewa oleh beliau di tepi pantai.
I pay just $900 a month for a 3-bedroom, 2,200 square foot apartment. And I think that's pretty good value. Comes with its own gymnasium, comes with its own swimming pool, private parking, and everything else that you could imagine in a great facility.
Hi everyone, I live on the island of Penang in Malaysia, and I just wanted to share this view from my balcony with you, looking across to the mainland, to Pulau Island, which you can see just out there in the distance, and as we come round to the left, the Penang Swimming Club, which is a mere 3 minutes walk away. I absolutely love it, and of course this is my own little private beach. So stay with me and I'll tell you some more secrets about Penang.
Hi everyone, my name is Keith Hockton. I'm the International Living Malaysia correspondent. Lived here now for 14 years. Hard to believe, but we have 14 years. So how did that process start? We lived in Sydney, we had an amazing lifestyle. I'd never really thought about moving, or if I had thought about moving, it wasn't going to be for years because, I was enjoying, kind of living in Sydney and diving and scuba diving and doing all that kind of stuff. And then my wife subscribed to International Living, and then the thought process began in earnest. We decided to sell our house, which sold way quicker than we thought it was going to, and suddenly we were in moving mode. We decided not to bring anything with us apart from artwork and 3 suitcases. And we left, like literally 4 months later, and arrived in Penang in Malaysia.
Orang Barat ni fikiran dia lain sikit ya. Kalau dia nak pindah, dia pindah aja. Bukan macam kita, ada rumah 1 biji, 7 generasi duduk sana.
So why did we choose Penang? And I think this is pretty much standard for every country that you guys should be looking at. We looked at language issues, and we were pretty crap at languages, to be honest with you. Even though now I actually speak Malay, but we're pretty crap at languages. So we just decided that Malaysia speaks English. Everybody here speaks English. It's the #1 business language of the country. So we knew that we could arrive and that we could converse and we could do all that kind of stuff. So we didn't have to learn another language. That was important. Then we knew all the signage was in English as well, because Malaysia used to be a British colony up until 1957 when they were given independence. And all the laws are in English. They're based on Westminster, the Westminster system. So we knew all that kind of stuff, and it just made everything so much easier. We applied to an agent to get MM2H. You have to, and that came through in 3 or 4 months. So we arrived here not knowing anyone. Took out a 6-month lease on an apartment because we weren't really too sure where we wanted to live, and then decided that we would say yes to every single thing that came our way. So There's various different Facebook groups. We joined all those. In fact, we'd actually joined those before we came, so we knew everything that was going on. And within a week of arriving, we'd made a very good set of local friends who are still our friends now, some 14 years later. A very kind of serendipitous meeting. But that's the way things happen. It all kind of happens that way. And then we attended beach barbecues. We then joined the Penang Swimming Club, which is a 5-star facility with sailing and power boats, scuba diving, numerous restaurants, state-of-the-art gymnasium, great library, and more importantly, 7,000 local members. And that was really important because we wanted to make friends. We wanted to meet, local people. We also joined the Penang Sports Club because my wife plays tennis. So we joined that and we met a completely different group of people. So pretty quickly we met a ton of people. So I became a chronicler of Penang's history really in Malaysia. So I started writing books. I wrote my first book about Malaysia in 2011. I formed a publishing company in 2015, and we suddenly became a real publisher because we had authors that we were then hiring. And I'd never thought about doing any of this kind of stuff before I came to Malaysia. But I guess the point I'm going to is that when you move to a new place, you become inspired by the new place, and you can reinvent yourself in the new place. And that's also a really important thing. So I did all that. Other great things about Malaysia, there's so many incredible things. The flora, the fauna, it's outstanding. From the tiniest orchids, most beautiful orchids, to a tiger reserve just across on the mainland. There's so many incredible things here. There's great hiking, there's tennis, there's international golf, standard courses. There's all this crazy kind of stuff going on here that seemingly the hours blur into days and the days blur into weeks, and suddenly we're in March, 2024. How crazy is that? I don't know where the time goes. But what I do know is that I have this amazing lifestyle in Malaysia. I love it. I love the people of Malaysia. They are hands down the friendliest people in all of Asia. Hands down. And the makeup of them is exotic. So Malaysians are Malay Malaysians, Chinese Malaysians, and Indian Malaysians, followed by us and, a variety of other mixes. But they are the loveliest people in the world, hand down. I also love that we're in the center of Southeast Asia, so traveling is really easy. That's really cool. You can literally pop off to Cambodia or Thailand or Bali, any of those kind of places, because Penang has its own international airport. Obviously, Kuala Lumpur, the capital, has its international airport. Singapore is not that far away. It's basically a 7-hour drive, but we're only a 3-hour drive to Thailand. So popping into Thailand for the day is doable. We've done it. We've actually popped into Thailand just to have lunch. So, you can do crazy things like that. And it's a really, really, really simple process. So they're just some of the things I love about Malaysia. And I haven't even talked about the incredible food. Oh my God. Malaysia, again, hands down, the best foodie place in Southeast Asia. So food here is pretty spectacular. Street stalls, absolutely amazing. And it's one of the things that draw international visitors here all the time, because Malaysia is known as a foodie capital. So from Malacca to Kuala Lumpur to Penang to Ipoh, across in Kuching, the food is spectacular. And when you've become a real Penangite when you're eating breakfast and you're already talking about lunch. It's just crazy. Someone told me that when I first came here, and I'm like, who does that? You do it now because the food here is so good.
Sebenarnya ramai juga di Eropah ni di bawah kategori B40 ya, dan bila mereka pindah ke Malaysia, mereka boleh hidup kaya raya dan mewah kerana mata wang, pertukaran mata wang yang begitu tinggi.
Penang actually has a British history going back to 1786. That's when the first British East India Company officer set foot on this island. and the rest, as they say, is history. So there's some pretty amazing things about Malaysia. It's not just beaches and national parks and scuba diving and wild animals and flora and fauna and all the incredible stuff. It's got an amazing history to it, which is one of the things that drew me here. So yeah, all of the above. And I go back to the people. The people are incredible. Other great things about living in Penang is the healthcare. An amazing amount of hospitals here. I think there's something like 13 hospitals in Penang, and they're all amazing. The healthcare in Malaysia is first rate. If you want to see a specialist of your choice, you don't have to get a referral from a GP. You can literally research the specialist you'd like to see, rock up at that hospital on any given day. Once you've registered, you will see him within an hour or so. It's incredible, an amazing service, and I don't know anywhere else in the world where you could possibly do that. So that's actually pretty good. The other amazing thing here is property rentals. You saw the beach that I live on. I pay just $900 a month for a 3-bedroom, 2,200 square foot apartment. And I think that's pretty good value. Comes with its own gymnasium, comes with its own swimming pool, private parking, and everything else that you could imagine in a great facility. I'm just going to pan around a little bit so you can see. Obviously the kitchen is there, and what you have behind me is a really quite a large living space, as you can see. So we've got 2,200 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, kitchen, maid's room. We've got an office which is just back here, but the really cool thing, which is what I want to show you, is the views, and it was the real selling point. So this apartment, 2,200 square feet, it rents out for $950 a month, and this is really what you're paying for. I mean, great apartment, but this is really it. So I'm just going to pan around slowly, and you can see the beach directly below me. So we now live on this beach, and you can see how many people are on it. It's about as crowded as you'll ever see it. The nice thing in the background is that you've got views of mainland Malaysia, and that's Pulau Tikas Island as well, so it's just a little island out there that we can kayak to. You can see the water's very calm. And if I pan around just a little bit, I just want to show you the apartments on that side. These guys are quite new, and they're 6,000 square feet, and they rent out for $2,000 a month. So 2,200 square feet, $950 a month, 6,000 square feet, $2,000 a month. And I know that anywhere in the US, in Miami or any of those kind of places, these apartments, those apartments especially, will be renting out for about $10,000 to $12,000 per month. And you can do that here in Penang. So $2,000 a month gives you 6,000 square feet of luxury. And I'm just going to pan around again, just so you can see the beach, which is quite incredible. And it really is quite spectacular. Hi everybody, welcome to Georgetown, Penang. What's also really amazing about this particular spot here is that this house, or this piece of land here, back in 1805 was where Sir Stamford Raffles actually had his house. So the guy who discovered Singapore, this is where he lived. So he would have literally walked out onto the corner of Love Lane and Chulia Street, and this was his area. That for me is what Georgetown's about. As well as all of this, its history is just incredible. You've got the law courts, which were the first law courts for the British in Malaysia. Just over there, you've got the Padang, and Fort Cornwallis, which is where Francis Light originally landed in 1786. So this whole area here is steeped in history. And if you live in Georgetown, it's one of the best things about it, especially for me, because I wander out and I actually see Georgetown as it was almost 200 years ago. So quite a special place to be. Behind me is the iconic Eastern and Oriental Hotel, which was built by the Sarkis brothers who came from Armenia all the way to Penang in the 1880s. And they're reminiscent of immigrants that came to Penang for all the same reasons that we're coming here now. which makes this place really amazing. And just to your right-hand side now, what you've got is an incredibly iconic 1930s building called the Garage. And it's one of a kind in Malaysia. There's no other building like it. And again, it just kind of takes you back to that nostalgic time in Malaysia when it was a really amazing place to be. It's another area that's becoming very popular with expats. So we're now in Straits Quay, just a little bit further down from where we were before in Gurney Drive, heading north on the island. And this whole development here 10 years ago wasn't here. This was all ocean, but now it's landfill and luxury apartments by the dozen. So very popular place for captains of industry, for retired expats, and expats who actually want use of a marina, which is just over there. So come to Penang, come to Malaysia. It's the most incredible country in the world, one of the best kept secrets ever, and say hi. And I look forward to you coming.
Jadi tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, bukan senang ya kalau kita nak pindah dari satu negara ke negara lain. Tapi untuk beliau ini semua telah jadi satu realiti di bawah program Malaysia My Second Home. Tidak heranlah ya, nanti beberapa tahun yang akan datang ni ramai lagi orang dari barat pindah masuk ke Malaysia, dan tidak heranlah kalau jiran-jiran kita lah, manalah tahu ya, dia ada orang Amerika di kiri, orang British di kanan, begitulah ya. Jadi terima kasih datang ke Balas Klasik dan terima kasih sokong channel saya. Kita jumpa lagi, sekali lagi selamat Raya Aidilfitri. Hati-hati di jalan raya.